What's up, guys? Your favorite player one, Richard here, out doing another bourbon hunt. Now you can probably see that I'm wearing the same outfit as I did last week. Well, what's up, guys? Your favorite player one, Richard here, out doing another bourbon hunt. Now you probably noticed the same attire. That's because I'm still out in Oxford, Mississippi, and I had a little bit more time on my hands than expected, so I wanted to stop at a second liquor store. Now this is High Cotton Wine and Spirits out in Oxford, Mississippi, and this store has a very special place in my heart because this is the first store that I was able to secure a Detling store pick. So it's getting ready to rain. I don't want to get soaked, so let's go inside and take a look at all the cool things that High Cotton has to offer. Right when you walk in the door, you are met with this huge wall of store pick selections. Now, the cool thing about this is they have lots of store picks from places you don't typically see in the Memphis area, including things like Jimmy Red and Southern Collective. Now, the cool thing about this store is that they hold a raffle at the end of the year, usually around Christmas. I believe it's before, maybe slightly after. If you buy 10 of their store picks, you earn one ticket into their raffle, and they will hold all of their allocated items until that time, and their entire tasting bar is filled with all their allocated items. Now, those store picks are not just on one side, but both sides. And of course, you know what I'm going to be looking at are these two different choices from Crittenden's. They have a Takai barrel, 113 proof, 5-year, finished in that Takai wine barrel, and then this one that is in their sweet vermouth wine cask. Both of those are $62.99. Probably on the better end of the price range as far as it comes to Crittenden's Cut Above. Now, as you're on your way to the whiskey wall, there's still just tons of whiskey everywhere. All those store picks. They have Dry Fly Distilling is here. Several of those that we saw in the other store, Traverse City Whiskey Company. Oh, here you go, a 14-year light whiskey from Rye Whiskey, cask strength coming in at 126.8 proof. One of the cheaper prices I've seen on a light whiskey. Now, this store is jam-packed with just all sorts of hidden gems here, and the first one, right as we walk up, is going to be this Detling. Now, according to this is a single barrel, 57.7, so that's 115.4 proof, and as you can see, there's only one. So if you're in the Oxford area looking for Detling, they got you here. Now, you would think with a college town you really wouldn't have this selection of whiskey, but you would be wrong when you come here to High Cotton. Now, up on the top shelf, one of the first things that catches my eye is this lineup of Dry Fly. Now, I was looking at the back of these earlier. It looks like most of this distillate comes from Washington State. Now, most of the age statements here are 3 years. You have a bourbon whiskey, a cask strength, straight wheat whiskey, and then whatever this guy is, all $45.99 with the exception of that cask strength coming in at $52.99. Now, Mississippi, what are y'all doing? Y'all get all the good stuff. You have 3 different offerings up here from Garrison Brothers: the Honeydew, the Small Batch, and the Single Barrel. This top shelf truly is a top shelf because you have 2 different offerings of K. Luke up here. Continuing on down, we're going to go a little bit faster just so that way we can get to some of the other cool things here. Very old St. Nick up top here, and Rare Perfection. When we say top shelf, just look at those prices there. Truly top shelf. A lot of these are going to be out of my price range. However, this winter maple whiskey definitely has my attention. Now, I've seen plenty of Willet Purple Top and Green Top in my day, but never one like this guy. Now $710. This is a 14-year Willet Purple Top. It's called Champagne and Caviar, which, I mean, that's very fitting, especially for that price. They also have a 12-year and then their standard 4-year. Same thing over here with their green tops. They have this one's called 11-year birthday. It's their 11-year 123 proof green top. They have an 8-year and then a 4-year as well. Seeing more Nashville Barrel Company than we do back at home. 2 different rye offerings. We've seen this before in another store. Might need to pick this one up. I love a good cigar blend. Now right here next to that Detling are 2 different Peerless Double Oak for $84.99, and then just the straight small batch whiskey. Ben Holiday, we're seeing that more and more in our area. They're out of St. Louis, Missouri, I believe, doing some really cool things. I picked up a bottle a while back. Haven't opened it yet. Definitely need to do that. Now, it's not very often that you see Rare Character sitting on the shelves. Now, I believe this one is last year's. I have the 2, batch number 2, which is also that Fox artwork. Not sure if this, well, it says 2025 here. This is their straight Kentucky whiskey, batch number 6. I think the numbers went up. I think this one was at least 14. Could be wrong, maybe even higher. I'm not sure what batch numbers this went to. Now, what I appreciate about this store is that they separate their ryes from their bourbons. And so here's another one of those Rare Characters. Same price point, $99.99. Pretty good price if you ask me. Love the artwork on these Rare Characters. This is batch number 8. Now, if we move down a little bit, there's more of that Peerless, that Toasted Peerless for $99.99 in that small batch. Still waiting for that distribution of JT Mellick to hit in our area, but in the meantime, they do have it here in Oxford. They only have 1 bottle here. That is their small batch. I believe this is the 96 proof. This is a nice one to kind of dip your toe into rice whiskey if that's something that you are interested in possibly doing. I preferred the 118 proof, but I also like a little bit more heat to my whiskey. Now, as we move farther down, we get to see more of those other things that we've seen in our last week's video. The Hyde Grove, I believe this goes to helping something with NIL and Ole Miss student athletes. $43.99 for a bottled and bond Crittenden's. Don't sleep on that. This is not the only one that they have. They have more over there on their store pick thing. Didn't think I would see this one down here. I did see this when we went to Jackson, Mississippi. This is that Purple Toad Distillery. They also do wine and vodka, I think primarily wine, but the Double Oak 118 proof, so the higher one, for $69.99. Like I said before, just hidden gems everywhere. They got 2 more Nashville Barrel Companies here. Cask strength 114.72 for $96.99. Same price point for its neighbor here, 6-year-old 112.04 single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Meat Sweats. Now, this one is really good if you want just a great bourbon rye blend, $44.99. Don't really see this much in our area here, but definitely worth checking out. I'm already on my 2nd bottle of this one at the house. 9-year Kentucky straight whiskey that makes up 30% of this blend, 70% rye, 7-year age statement. 113 proof. Great bottle. Now, since this was sitting next to the Whistle Pig, I just skipped right over it, but they also offer the New Southern Revival. That's Jimmy Red Corn. I've seen this featured a lot of times over on Brutally Honest Bourbon. It is whiskey coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I did have one that was sorghum. Don't know if I would recommend that one, but I would imagine that this is probably going to be a lot better than that offering. And then, of course, we saw that they had those store picks over there as well. Now they even have stuff for you Scotch lovers here, things that I've not seen in our area. They have these 2 different offerings by Ardbeg. Ardbeg Scorch, Limited edition fiercely charred cask. Don't know how I feel about that one. And then the punctured, let's see, includes black malt barley, aromas of dark chocolate, brittle toffee clash. This one sounds a little bit more up my alley. As we come down, I have another one that looks really cool, and that is the Peat Monster from Compass Box. Cask strength, limited edition, blended, malted Scotch whiskey, $137.99. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. So it looks like it's a Scotch that takes on certain American influences onto the whiskey. A little bit of a story there. We ain't got time to read all that, but still looks like a really intriguing bottle. I've said before, I am very much a sucker for a label, or in this case, a really cool box. As I mentioned, they have tons of store picks, and pretty much anything that you see there you can taste over here at the tasting bar, including those dry fly, that Jimmy Red, and I do see a preservation over here as well. All right, guys, thanks for coming along on another bourbon hunt, this time in Oxford, Mississippi at High Cotton Wine and Spirits. This truly is more than just a college town. It is an amazing community with really great people and really cool liquor stores as well. Now, you know, as I like to do, I like to purchase a bottle as a way of saying thank you to the stores for letting me film, and today is no exception. In fact, when I picked up this bottle, which happened to be a store pick, I asked the gentleman in front of me if I could add this to his card, almost pushing him over to that 10 bottle limit. Now, that bottle happens to be Dry Fly Distilling Specialty Barrel. Now, this is a 4-year-old barrel that is straight wheat whiskey finished in Townsend Cabernet Sauvignon barrels, 126.5 proof. Now, I was fortunate enough to try this at their tasting bar, went into it a little hesitant, glad that I purchased it. So, all right, guys, well, I appreciate you sticking until the end. I'm your favorite player one, Richard. Have a good one. What's up, guys? Your favorite player one, Richard here, out doing another bourbon hunt. Now, you can probably see that I'm wearing the same outfit as I did last week. Well, is that Major Zero? What the heck, dude?
He just told me.